millions of animals migrate home, but some are better at it than others.
Wait, this isn't New York. Oops.
This summer,
How do we move through Europe?
It's the fuzz! You gotta let us in! Go, go, go! Go!
This train is for circus animals only.
See, these animals tried to go back into the wild. If we're getting those 3 meals they were getting a day, 3 free meals, all that pampering they were getting in the zoo.
So you're saying we should never feel sorry for animals in the zoo?
No.
Well,
we should do that anyway.
They're American animals. They're just used to comfort.
Yeah.
Put them out there like, oh yeah, you're all one. No, we're not, man. It's not natural to be. Oh wait, the natural thing kind of sucks. Never mind. Let's go back
You
to
ain't a
pampering.
lion. You a pussy.
I always figure if you're not paying rent, then you got it pretty goddamn good. So
I would trade at places with an animal in the zoo any day. Kids, this is the lazy ass Corey right here, who just sits around all day and just eats the food we give him. Sits over there in the corner.
Wait, how is that different from the Corey we know?
I thought he was the janitor. Wait.
Well, there's that point I can just walk out whenever I want to, but I don't. so I might as well be in the zoo.
And that's how you get Madagascar 3 double D.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, wrong movie. Sorry.
So, man, you know what? I'm surprised to hear about this because I didn't get to see this film, much like a lot of movies that we've seen the last few days. I've been out of town.
Yeah, you say I didn't get to see this film as if you hadn't planned to not see
planned it.
this.
Now, come on now. I think if I
He
remember,
was like, yeah, I'm going to miss Prometheus, but I miss Madagascar 3.
Yeah.
I think it's worth
So
it.
I actually win.
yeah, but you know what? I think I can't remember correctly. I never can. But I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say I probably was the easiest on these Madagascar movies
You have
than the rest
been.
of you.
No, historically you have been. And I may have been the hardest because I have not liked them.
No, you hate these movies.
Well, I won't go so far as to say I hate them.
No, you hate them. I remember.
You took the DVDs, you put them in a pit, you put liquid starter over them, and you set them on fire.
Leon,
you shit on them.
Yeah, I was about to say, I saw you take a shit in the middle of the street in front of your mom's house
I was like,
on those
that seems a
DVDs.
little
But that doesn't mean I hate them.
Yeah, like you took him out in the woods. He did a mafia hit on these DVDs. No, you know what, man?
It was like Miller's Crossing.
Yeah.
You can't just shoot me down like a dog.
Yeah, you had
Look into your heart.
Oh, Chris Rock is that zebra. Look into your eyes. I'll gladly put a bullet in that zebra's head. By the way, there's one thing that annoyed me about these movies is Chris Rock as that zebra. But I was expecting you guys to come out and talk about just how much you hate this movie, especially with a movie like Madagascar, a DreamWorks film. You figure on the third one, they just wouldn't care about anything but making money. But you guys enjoyed this.
Well, how often does it ever happen that the third movie is the best of a series?
I don't know. Ask
never-
Cyrus. He loves Godfather 3.
Yeah, that's right. You do love the
Seriously,
Godfather 3.
That's what just came out of that.
No, I wasn't leading up to that, but we did have a conversation about it a little while ago.
I
I
really
never
did.
said I loved the God.
You said it was the best one out of the entire
I did
trilogy.
not say that.
No, I heard you. And
That's right.
But
I wrote down on a piece
You
of
guys
paper.
are the worst friends in the world.
But no, I take it. I haven't heard your opinion, co-host, but Cyrus spoke for everybody. At least he spoke for you in saying that you thought that this was pretty good.
Well, I said it was the step up 3 of the Madagascar universe.
There's a
and
dance
that
off?
it was a really mediocre series that you just didn't give much mind to. And then the third one out of nowhere does a really bunch of surreal and unexpected shit that makes it entirely watchable and enjoyable.
yeah, I mean, my problem with even going back to the first one that I hated more was the fact that it was very obviously rushed. I believe it was Katzenberg who was working on that film, The Wild, that was just like that, and then left to go to DreamWorks and was like, just took that idea with him. And the thing was with The Wild, it was beautifully rendered, like the standard way it was supposed to be done. With Madagascar, the first one, you watch it, you can tell they didn't go through that last rendering pass. They like, look, just rush this shit out. It's a bunch of lumphead kids who gonna watch it. They don't know about animation.
When you look at the animation in Madagascar and you say that they didn't render it out and it doesn't look like The Wild, I always saw it as a stylistic thing.
No, it's one of those things where if you have a deficit, you turn it into a stylistic thing. I'm like, okay, sure. You took lemons and made lemonade or tried to polish a turd or whatever. They did just enough to get it out there before the Wild did. Well, and it was frenetic, it was crazy, it was in your face, and it was the DreamWorks thing where DreamWorks was like, look, we're going to have a lot of celebrity names. Speaking of Spielberg, has been in this business a long time, and everybody owes him a favor, and everything we do is going to be packed with celebrities that you love. So come watch our shit.
So what is the Spielberg movie that David Schwimmer is in?
Well, see, at the time when Madagascar came out, David Schwimmer was still sort of a name.
Yeah, I guess so.
and-
He
and-
was in that TV series,
Yeah.
the war TV series. What was it?
Band
called
of
Who
Brothers?
Gives a
Band of Brothers. That's
Yeah.
Well, Leon, I have to say about Madagascar and your argument about the style, I think you're totally wrong. I think you misunderstood what they're trying to do, and I think you're just fucking ignorant. People like arguments. Keep going. but this movie, you're saying that
We're looking for ratings right now.
No, yeah. Just go with it, man. But
Hey, co-host, you suck.
Fuck you.
give me that glass right there. But you guys seem to like think that maybe the style here is it better, or just does it lend itself to the humor more?
I thought they did it a little bit better with the second one. But with this one, now, I have to admit that I did miss a lot of the beginning of the movie because I went to the wrong theater and I got there late. But when I sat down and when I first sat down, I was like, all right, let me just get this shit over with. And I was just like, right off the bat, I was like, wow, this is already way more inspired than those first two movies. They really seemed to have an idea when they came back to it.
And me, I always looked at the first Madagascar as like, okay, this is some dumb, cheap shit made for kids.
Right.
Who cares? And I can't even, I want to say I did see the second one, but if I did, I don't remember shit from it. So that has to tell you a lot. But the thing is, with this series though, I've always kind of lumped this in with something like Ice Age.
Exactly.
Where it's just like, yeah, this is just shit they put out every summer, every year, just to get the kids away from the parents or whatever, and who cares? And I was really dreading seeing this movie. Like, I do not like waking up fucking early in the morning to see shit
Or for any
made for
reason.
kids. and with this, I was like, oh my God, did this just get a fucking injection in the arm by Pixar or something? Because I was taken back by the humor and just what they were doing with all this movie's in 3D, but this is the first like animated film where I think they went far and beyond what you could do with 3D animation right now, as far as just making it a spectacle on the screen, which I have to admit, I always thought, Pixar, maybe they've done it here and there, or maybe it's just because they're Pixar that I could say that. But with this, I was like, man, this is some very memorable, really cool shit that they were doing with the 3D in this.
Pixar never really played into the 3D. I mean, even when their movies are in 3D, it's almost like, fine, we'll put it in 3D.
Isn't our concern.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I would say, like, How to Train Your Dragon was the first movie first one of these kind of CG movies that really used 3D.
And yeah, this one is definitely one of those ones where there's no question that they were filming this knowing that it was going to be 3D and to take full advantage of it. And sure enough, they take great advantage of it. Like,
yeah.
there's not a scene in this movie that you're not swerving your head and everything. A lot of the just manic intensity of this is due to the new character of Captain Chantal Dubois, voiced by Frances McDormand, who is this psychotic French, like, animal control employee woman who is just, once she has an issue with all the animals early on, she decides, oh, she's going to get these animals. And more specifically, she's going to get that lion's head for her wall collection of animals. And so she's chasing them all over the fucking world, no matter what, beating up other police officers even, just because she's going to get that fucking lion's head.
Yeah.
So this is why they do a European tour then.
Well, they're trying to get back to America because they
New York,
decided they want to
Central
get
Park Zoo.
to the zoo, and they get way off course because the penguins are off in Monte Carlo, like trying to take they got a whole system and they're going to beat the thing, and the penguins are late, so they go, those penguins have fucked us, and they go there, and the penguins have not fucked them, they're just still making money, but then it's a whole chase across Europe as they're all trying to figure out how to get home while this crazy, weirdly misshapen French bitch is just psychotically going, and she's awesome, she's the best enemy ever, she's like, it's weird that I can describe
Right next to
this
the T-1000.
as like a video game. I can describe this as being like a video game, and I mean it in the best possible way. Like, this is the game you would love to play. You're watching somebody else play. You're like, oh man, let me do the next one.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're absolutely right. Where the last time I saw a movie where it felt like a video game kind of experience was that Tintin movie.
Yeah.
With the action sequences. And this, it's throughout the entire movie. I mean, anytime they're running away from that T-1000 crazy bitch, I mean, I mean, they just take so much advantage of the visuals and what to do with it, and while at the same time making it funny. which I never thought in a million years I'd be laughing at anything dealing with Madagascar if it wasn't for those little fucking penguins.
Yeah, like the penguins
that
were
are
the
like,
ones
that
to
like-
break out and get their own show.
I know, yeah. It's like, wow, characters that you had in the fucking background are much more fascinating than your actual characters in Madagascar.
And the penguins are great again here, too.
They are.
Once
They really
again,
are.
I mean, I didn't even see the first two Madagascars. And I tell you that I'm watching this movie and I'm looking at Coast and Leon going, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? This is great. And the first thing Leon says to me what's over is like, hey, man, don't go see the other Madagascars because of this. This was good.
Do
but
yourself
this,
a favor.
This is not like those others.
Well,
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I mean, speaking of the characters, like, one of the things that really always kind of brings it down for me, even in this movie, from what I saw, is like most of the movie is about Alex the Lion and Chris Rock Zebra. I forget Marty the Zebra.
Ben Stiller and Chris Rock.
Yeah, but the other two characters, David Schwimmer and Jada Pinkett Smith, as the hippo and the giraffe.
Yeah, David Schwimmer is the giraffe, and
Yeah.
Jada Pinkett is the fat hippo. And
Yeah, to me, the two of them, those two characters are just one note. Like from the very first movie, like they have some kind of character arc there, and every one of these movies, and I saw it even this one, where it reminded me of Diego the Tiger in Ice Age 2, where they're like, we don't really have anything for you to do.
Yeah.
So we'll just make it where you're afraid of water. How about that?
They're windows.
Just for a reason to stick you in here.
And they're window dressing here
Yeah.
as well. And it's partially because there's so many new characters introduced in this film because about the halfway point, they end up teaming up with a circus that's traveling and is failing badly. And they have to make the circus work so they can go with the circus to get to America.
Yeah, if they get the circus working, they can go on tour, and that tour will stop in New York, and then they get back to the zoo. It's quite a convoluted plot.
And you've got Bryan Cranston as this Russian tiger who lost his verve when he totally fucked up his act a while back, and he's never really gotten it back together again.
Where are you coming from?
Please, you gotta hide us just until the heat dies down.
Absolute, no outsiders. So wipe that smearing off your face and pop off.
Oh, come on, man. You gotta do one cat a solid. Cat to cat, do a solid here, buddy. Come on. Still the heat die.
This train is for circus animals only. Stefano, we do not invite trouble into our circus. I don't trust Lion. Hair too big and glossy.
Oh, come on, Vitaly, you being a mean.
He's not lion. He's lioness with a beehive.
This is awkward. I hear everything they're saying.
You got Jessica Chastain, who apparently it's illegal to make a movie without now, who plays the cheetah, who's kind of the love interest for Ben Stiller, sort of. Martin Short is a crazed seal,
He's
like
the
a
seal.
French seal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, where's he been?
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Trapped in the seal's
he was on-
body.
he was-
Because, wow, this is like he's been practicing for a while for this one.
Honestly, his wife died, and he's been devastated. That's why you haven't seen him in
You
a
trying to
while.
make me feel bad?
Wow, way to make
I
us
didn't kill his
all
wife.
feel-
He had
that
a
one
Gene
came up a
Wilder
little short.
done to him. Oh man, that sucks. But you know what? Those new characters though, I think that's what this movie needed. It needed some
you're
new
right.
characters because those characters, I was like, wow, these are characters that you would find in a Pixar movie because they're that fascinating and just getting into their backgrounds as little as they did with like the seal and stuff. You felt like he was such a bigger character than the main stars, and especially the Siberian Tiger, where it's like, man, he's almost kind of like a Buzz Lightyear in a way, to where you kind of sympathize with the guy, even though he played, he tries to play this hard ass, but he's really not. And when they really get into his character, you're like, I would love to see a movie about this guy again, because they make him so fascinating.
And one of my
So
favorite
fascinating,
things about him and the new characters was the design of the characters. Even that had a fresh look to it. It was very stylized. I mean, that tiger was just very angular. You would love it as a cartoonist. You would love the new designs they have on these characters. But also that French chick, she's got this classic kind of French face.
Are we talking about the one that Frances McDormand
Yeah,
was?
yeah,
the
from
villain.
like an old style kind of French woman, almost can dancer face. But here's something else that's fascinating about her. She's got huge tits.
How did I know you gonna say that?
But the thing is, like,
But not done in a way that she's supposed to be like this super attractive.
No, she's not supposed to be
She's
sexy at all.
dumpy. She's short and dumpy.
yeah, it was with skinny legs, but it's just one of those things I was just sitting there and noticing. I was like, wow, you know what? They haven't made cartoon females with breasts in forever. It's like they just like they don't even acknowledge it. They don't want kids like, don't think about that. And here the whole time, every time she was on, I was like, Wow, cartoon titties.
People are like,
it's
God
been a
damn.
long
Yeah,
time.
well, you got too many perverted fucking animators that just can't do it right anymore. They all want to draw Jessica Rabbit.
I know,
They're
they
like,
want them
hey,
to
this is a
bounce and
kids movie,
everything.
I was about
asshole.
to say they ain't watching enough anime then because it's all there.
Well, I ain't talking about, of course, the anime.
Yeah, I just like the way you're reflective on this. I mean, you sit up here and you're like, man, it's been a while since we've had good cartoon titties.
Well, it's like I didn't think about it till watching because it was that thing like, what is bugging me? I was like, wow, nobody's done this in years. Like,
This is refreshing.
Like,
Yeah. And all the years of animation that I've seen.
they just came to that point where I guess censors or parents groups came in and just said like, no more, none of that. And these guys just went like, all right, nobody's looking at it.
Well, she looks like Yoda with tits. So,
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean, it's
much.
like
She
you're
does.
not.
No, I'm not saying it like she's
Yeah.
hot or anything.
Yeah.
It's just one of those like, I'm just saying like, wow,
We
you
refer
don't
to
see
them
this
as
anymore.
tig old biddies. Nobody's gonna know what we're talking
And
about.
by the way, kids, come over to Spill.com. We'll get plenty of cartoon titties over here.
This movie should have been called Madagascar 3 Double D.
But she's like, that's part of the fun. Her character is so bizarrely proportioned.
Yeah.
Watching her do this crazy action movie stuff throughout this film and these chase scenes, you can't take your eyes off it.
You know, it's funny because you mentioned that it's cool to hear them play with proportions, even out of the breast thing and everything. It's great to see animes be able to play with proportions of characters like this because when you say this, I haven't seen the movie, but it takes me back to when we saw the triplets of Belleville. You know
Sure,
that?
yeah.
And they had all these characters that were so tall and thin and short and round and robust or dumpy looking, and that just sounds like it just
Actually, she fits in right with that.
okay, so this just sounds like they finally reached a point where they've used the design to some cleverness and a sense of fun.
And that's what the entire movie, as near as I can tell, it's just like it's almost like you want when somebody makes a sequel after something that's been a while, and you just like, why are you doing this? The only reason to do this was if you had some new idea. And sometimes you go into things, Men in Black 3, where you think that like, oh, they got some new inspiration, they're going to do something with it, and then it turns out no, they just wanted to make money.
Big
And
money
this is
grab,
one where it's
yeah.
like, oh, you guys actually did.
But you know
regroup.
what? I will tell you this. Sometimes when you get a movie with this kind of visual style, because Cyrus was saying, man, they only have small moments, very small moments where they get into some emotion or sentimentality.
Yeah, they want to show some heart to the film.
And they just roll right over. They know they say, okay, we got it. We're done. Let's move on.
yeah, we got to have something to relate to the shit from the previous film so you can go, oh.
Yeah, some movies just have a design to where they just need to just stick with just being wild and fun. It makes me, you know, what you're describing here. Would you say this is something like The Emperor's New Groove?
No.
Okay, excuse me.
That was a quick answer.
Don't
What's your theories?
I'm sorry.
Quiet
It's
you.
much better than the other two, but let's not get carried
Well,
away.
in the story-wise, it's pretty shallow. There's not really a lot of depth going on here. And sure enough, like you can tell because anytime they approach trying to be serious or have heart, you're like, can we please go back to just the wacky insanity stuff? Because I don't care. I mean, maybe it's partially me that I don't know what happened in the previous Madagascar films.
Don't
And
worry
so when
about
they're
it.
relating to it, I'm like, what are they talking about? Or stuff that even within this movie, I'm like, yeah, this just, it doesn't have any impact for me. But this is just, I mean, it's just one of those things. Like you do feel like a really little kid. You just let you watch, if you just let it wash over you, just enjoy the frenetics of the whole thing.
I can see you out in the theater, like in front of the screen. You just bent back, just wash all over me. Like Madagascar just rinsed my body.
I'm gonna rent the theater so I can be naked.
Madagascar,
Roll
take
over
me
the
away.
I'm gonna shower in cartoon water.
Yeah, like
but
Skittles commercial.
What would you give it, man?
Well, you know, it's an interesting question because, like I said, it's not that in and of itself, it's written all that great, but whoever storyboarded it, those guys deserve a special award. Like whoever figured out how the motion was going to play out on screen and all the visual gags, that's the heart and soul of this thing. I mean, there's even a sequence in here where they do a musical number as the circus comes into being, and it's like, oh wow, this is a kick-ass circus. It's like not even within the bounds of reality. It's like they suddenly go into like Disco Tron world, but it works and it's really cool.
It is one of those things where you go, like, this was a failing circus? How the fuck did you afford to do all
That's
this?
how they lost all that money. They put in all the light effects.
Exactly. But,
I was like, when did we enter the grid? I was like, what?
and it's a shame that if they had paid more attention to like the actual, you know, story, given it some those heart moments, some feelings where some, you know, given it some depth, that it could have been so much more than it really is. But, you know, purely in a visceral sense, this is a high matinee. Okay. Is what I'm going to give it.
Oh, okay.
I want to tell
One of
everybody,
you guys.
co-host and Leon are like having this stare off right now. Who's gonna go first?
I know the rule. Co-host goes last.
It's not a rule.
Oh, no.
No, it's fine. You know what? I mean,
He's like, fine, I'll let you go last. Fuck you.
having missed so much at the beginning, I don't know how fair I can be in my review.
How much did you miss? 30 minutes.
He showed up to the theater on the other side of the chat.
Did you really?
I did.
On the other side.
And I thought it started an hour later than it actually did.
And the worst of it,
He still showed up.
but I thought the worst of it is like you woke up like at 8 in the fucking
I
morning.
was just taking my time, eating breakfast, drinking coffee.
Oh no, the best part of the story is he gets there, right? So it's been on for like 40 minutes or something. And like there's bored teenagers inside, doors unlocked, and he's like miming out the movie to get them to open the door for him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. They're just like, we're closed. And I'm like, I know people in there watching this movie. So I'm acting like the lion going,
Did you do a giraffe?
No, I didn't have to do a giraffe. But at that point,
He was outside screaming like fucking Chris Rock. Hey!
He's outside eating leaves off of a tree.
Afro Circus.
Come on!
The costume shop next door got an afro wig. They paid him some black and white. Got him rid of the prison costume.
Guys are in there think they're playing charades. Ooh, how many words?
Meanwhile, the guy's calling the crazy house. But go ahead.
But what I can tell you, I saw of it was like I said, it was so much more inspired. And listening to these guys, I'm like, damn, it sounds like I missed the best of this movie. And what I got to see was pretty good, especially like that big set piece with the circus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's completely implausible as it is. You got to just turn your brain
Just
off for that.
impossible.
Impossible.
Implausible is not even.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's implausible. Denotes that it could happen in some way. No, it couldn't. But it's such a beautiful light show and what a great musical piece. You almost like want to forgive it. And I think that's where it peaks because that's like the height of its creativity. Now everything after that, I was like, man, that was so cool. But from there on, it really drifted into like, all right, this is a Madagascar movie. It's ultimately made for kids. There's a big action piece that's just kind of sloppy, and there's a whole tying up of loose ends, and you got to have the scene of what you lied to us. Oh, come on, guys. And it's like, we got to go through this dance again. God damn it. I wish y'all could
they
just
do that in every movie.
Yeah, it's always something like that. And also they pull those gags. Like, man, they just cannot resist a gag where somebody's flying through the air, like shot through a cannon, scared, but then like, oh, I got it. Now let me close my eyes right before I bang into a wall or a mountain or something.
That's funny.
And they
It was funny. I thought it was funny.
Did you act that out for the guy trying to get in? He ran straight to the glass door.
well,
That's what you should have done to get in that theater.
there's that moment where I go like, all right, sure, I've seen it a million times, but there's kids who haven't. But then they like do it 2 or 3 times in a row. It's like, okay guys, stop it. Gag
I
ain't that
get
great.
it, yeah.
But I would give it just a matinee.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you're right because as much as I liked about it, there's times when I was like, wow, I wish they would just carry the story on with these new circus characters because I still think they're more fascinating than the actual Madagascar. Because like you guys were mentioning when they pretty much gave the giraffe and that walrus the boot.
Hippo.
I was like the boot. I was like, good because who gives a fuck? Yeah, they suck. Yeah, they
Coles is like whatever fucking fat animal.
whatever fucking 4-legged beast that shit is. That beast
That elephant.
That beast of burden. Yeah. That
buffalo.
Yeah. That buffalo wing. But
Look at that weird Jack Sprat thing going on with them. Like, I didn't want to think about that.
But I mean, I was like, good because yeah, they had 2 movies to make those characters interesting, and they never
couldn't
did.
do
So
it.
who cares? I like I said, I was really taken back by those circus animals. I thought they were really the heart and soul of the movie. But you're right, those visuals though, the circus fucking visuals that you can only pray circuses look that fucking cool.
I know. If there was a circus that looked half that cool, I would go again.
I mean, I want to buy this DVD and hook up like system so I can play Pink Floyd, get really fucked up and watch this in slow motion.
It's actually funny because Madagascar 3 hooks up right with Wizard of Oz.
Man, but I mean, those visuals are amazing. Probably the best I've seen in an animated movie in a long time. Where I look like I was being sucked into a world of Skittles. I mean, wow! And I'm sure these kids. I wanted to look back to see if these kids just look like fucking high as kites, like looking at this shit. Go, wow! I heard a kid in the background go, wow! out.
They're all drinking Fanta.
This shit will get you fucked up. But I mean, it is a matinee. It is a matinee because I mean, it is still a Madagascar movie, so you still have its shortcomings from the previous movies because you know they have to link all that shit up. But I mean, but you know, maybe it was so good because at the end of the movie, I saw the director's credits and there was like fucking 4 or 5 different directors where I'm like, holy shit, yeah, that's a lot of directing.
Passed through a few hands before it got to this day.
Well, I'm glad to hear y'all like the movie. I'm surprised, and I'm glad we didn't have to come get your ass, Leon, out of the state home after like a nut house. I mean, or a nutcase in front of the movie theater out there with an afro wig on, nibbling from a tree.
He looked like Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters.
Afro circus.
Police, crazy Negro outside the theater. Come and get his ass.
What? I'm just doing a song. Poke it out, poke it out. Let me go. Get your hands off me. There's nothing wrong with me.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Really?
They've got one shot
Fire in the hole!
to get back home.
Well, that was worth the price of admission.
DreamWorks Madagascar 3 in 3D.